What if your entire reality could shift in just 7 days through quantum entanglement? Not gradually, not eventually, completely. But here's what most people don't realize, and this is the part that changes everything. It has nothing to do with time itself. You've probably noticed something intriguing about your own experience with manifestation. Some weeks feel like a blur, disappearing before you even realize they've started, while others stretch endlessly, each day carrying the weight of months. Sometimes 7 days pass in routine, leaving barely a trace in your memory. But other times 7 days give birth to an entirely new world through the power of vibrational frequency, not outside your window, inside your soul. And there's a scientific reason for this that I'll reveal in just a moment. Something that quantum physicists discovered about consciousness manifestation that completely changes how the law of attraction actually works. But first, you need to understand what's really keeping you stuck. Because what traps you isn't what you think it is. Most people believe time follows a straight line, past, present, future, all lined up in neat, unchangeable order. But here's the secret that ancient mystics knew, and modern science is finally proving. Time isn't linear when you understand quantum entanglement. Time is vibrational frequency. It's a sensory memory, an emotion you keep repeating through your consciousness manifestation over and over without even realizing it. Think about this for a moment. When your heart races with anxiety, everything around you seems to stop. Minutes feel like hours. But when your soul feels empty, lost in the fog of routine, days crawl by with agonizing slowness. Yet the moment you shift your vibrational frequency, truly shift it, something impossible happens through quantum entanglement. You shift your timeline. And here's where it gets really interesting. There's a phenomenon that Einstein called spooky action at a distance that explains exactly how consciousness manifestation works. But what he discovered about particles applies to something much more personal, something that's happening to you right now through the law of attraction as you listen to these words. Without even realizing it, you're already entangled through quantum entanglement with every version of yourself you're trying to become. The question isn't whether this connection exists. The question is whether you can feel it. And in about 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to tune into this connection, using a method that rewires your brain through vibrational frequency in ways that seem almost mystical. But there's a catch, and this is crucial. Most people who try consciousness manifestation are actually pushing their dreams away through one invisible mistake, a mistake so subtle that you might be making it right now without knowing it. Can you feel it? That subtle vibration in your chest as I speak these words about the law of attraction, that little tremor that doesn't have a name but feels like recognition. That's not imagination. That's your nervous system responding to something it recognizes as true about vibrational frequency. And if you can feel that resonance, then you're ready for what comes next. Because this isn't just information about quantum entanglement. This is a moment of transformation. And if you're here now watching these words, feeling this energy, it's absolutely not a coincidence. Nothing is. Not you. Not this moment. Not the fact that your consciousness and this message about manifestation are colliding right here, right now. The change has already begun through the law of attraction. It started the moment you decided to listen, to open, to consider that maybe, just maybe, your reality is far more fluid through quantum entanglement than anyone ever taught you. And it accelerates now in these next 25 minutes as we journey together through 7 frequencies that can rebuild your entire existence through consciousness manifestation. But here's what I need you to understand before we go any deeper into vibrational frequency. Sometimes all you have is a week, 7 small fragments of time that seem too short for real change. And that's exactly why they're perfect. Because the biggest lie you've been told is that transformation takes time. But what shifts within you through quantum entanglement doesn't follow a calendar. It follows something much more powerful. The linear mind tries to organize everything, beginning, middle, end. It expects healing only after pain has passed, abundance only when everything is in perfect order. But the universe doesn't work like that through the law of attraction. The universe operates on a completely different principle. A principle that, once you understand it, make 7-day transformations through consciousness manifestation not just possible, but inevitable. And here's the first clue about vibrational frequency. Time isn't the same for everyone. You know this from your own experience. 1 minute of pain doesn't weigh the same as 1 minute of joy. Some days drag like years. Some seconds open entire portals to new realities. But why? What's the mechanism behind this quantum entanglement? The secret lies in how you live each moment of these 7 days we're about to explore through consciousness manifestation. If you awaken your senses, really awaken them, you expand time. You stretch it into something workable, malleable, sacred. You're no longer racing the clock. You're conducting an orchestra where every note creates ripples in the quantum field around you through vibrational frequency. But there's something most people miss entirely about the law of attraction. Something that determines whether your 7 days become just another week or the doorway to everything you've ever wanted. And it has to do with a discovery that won Nobel Prizes, but somehow never made it into manifestation teachings. Research proves what mystics have whispered for centuries about consciousness manifestation. When you enter certain states of awareness, when you feel deeply and consistently, your brain operates differently. Neural pathways that have been dormant suddenly ignite. Connections form at quantum speed. In that elevated rhythm, change doesn't follow the slow logic of ordinary time through quantum entanglement. It follows the instantaneous logic of entanglement. And that brings us to the most important question of all about vibrational frequency. Not how long until your life changes, but what frequency are you vibrating at right now? Because that frequency, that invisible signature you're broadcasting every second, is deciding whether your next 7 days are just another week of the same patterns or the beginning of everything new through the law of attraction. But here's where most people stumble with consciousness manifestation. They understand frequency intellectually, but they don't realize there's something invisible connecting them to everything they want. Something that doesn't care about distance or time or current circumstances. Something pulsing beneath the surface of ordinary awareness, weaving the fabric of reality itself through quantum entanglement. There's something inside you right now that's already connected to everything you're trying to become. Something quantum physicists call spooky action at a distance, but what it really means will change how you think about manifestation forever through vibrational frequency. It's as if every thought you think sends out invisible threads that weave the tapestry of your experience. And these threads don't follow the logic of the physical world you can see and touch. They follow the deeper logic of the quantum field that underlies everything. But here's what's fascinating about this connection through the law of attraction. In quantum physics, when two particles interact, they become entangled forever through quantum entanglement. Even if separated by light years, one responds instantly when the other changes state. Not through signals, not through time, through connection that transcends space itself. And here's the revelation that changes everything about consciousness manifestation. You're already entangled with every version of your life you're trying to manifest. That dream of yours isn't floating somewhere in the future, waiting for you to catch up. It's connected to you right now through invisible threads of possibility and vibrational frequency. But most people can't access this connection because they're making one crucial mistake with the law of attraction. They're trying to feel their way to their desires from the wrong starting point, and this creates a frequency that actually repels what they want most through quantum entanglement. The mistake is so subtle, you might not even notice you're making it with consciousness manifestation. But once you see it, once you understand the energetic difference between desire that attracts and desire that repels, everything shifts. And I'm going to show you exactly what that difference is in just a moment. But first, you need to understand why feeling is the secret of vibrational frequency. Not positive thinking, not visualization, feeling. Because feeling isn't just emotion. It's a signal, a frequency, a code that tells the quantum field who you are and what reality you're calling forth through the law of attraction. The great mystic understood this when he said those 3 words that changed everything for millions of people. Feeling is the secret. But what he understood about feeling goes deeper than most people realize about consciousness manifestation. It's not about feeling good. It's not about feeling positive. It's about feeling something as real through quantum entanglement. And here's where neuroscience backs up what mystics always knew about vibrational frequency. Your brain cannot tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced. When you feel something deeply enough, your brain records it as memory. And memory shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes destiny through the law of attraction. But there's a problem most people run into with consciousness manifestation. They try to feel their desires as real while still vibrating from a place of lack. And this creates an energetic contradiction that blocks everything they're trying to create through quantum entanglement. Not all desires come from light. Some rise from emptiness, from fear, from the ache of not having. And when desire is soaked in scarcity, when it vibrates with desperation, it amplifies exactly what you're trying to escape. It tells the quantum field, this isn't mine. This is missing from my life. This is far away from me through vibrational frequency. And here's the part that will make perfect sense once you hear it about the law of attraction. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It doesn't even respond to your thoughts. It responds to your vibration, to the frequency you're broadcasting from your core through consciousness manifestation. And if that frequency says, I don't have, the universe mirrors that absence right back to you. The reality you're living today isn't punishment, it's reflection, a direct mathematical reflection of what you believe and feel to be true about yourself and your life at the deepest level through quantum entanglement. When desire is tied to urgency, to that frantic energy of I need this now or I'll never be happy, it doesn't magnetize what you want through vibrational frequency. It creates resistance. It generates the very separation you're trying to bridge. This is where so many people get stuck with the law of attraction. They want with all their heart, they visualize with dedication, they affirm with passion, yet they vibrate in the opposite direction of their dreams. And there's a specific reason why this happens with consciousness manifestation. Psychology calls it negative reinforcement, but it goes deeper than mental patterns. It's energetic. When you vibrate, I don't have enough, you entangle yourself with scarcity through quantum entanglement. When you vibrate not yet, you're telling the universe that separation still exists between you and your desires. But here's the breakthrough that changes everything about vibrational frequency. The great teachers never taught people to want harder. They never said to visualize more intensely. They said something completely different, something that flips the entire manifestation process inside out through the law of attraction. They said to feel as if it's already real, to live from the end, to inhabit the reality you desire as if it's already yours. But most people miss the deeper meaning of this instruction about consciousness manifestation. It's not about pretending. It's about identity transformation, so profound that your energy field reorganizes around a new truth through quantum entanglement. And that's where the quantum leap happens with vibrational frequency. When you stop asking the universe for something and start embodying it, when you stop reaching toward your future and start living from it, when you become what you seek instead of seeking what you want to become through the law of attraction. But there's still something missing from this equation, something that determines whether this transformation actually sticks or fades away after a few days. And it has to do with a pattern that's been encoded into human consciousness for thousands of years through consciousness manifestation. Why 7 days? Why does this number appear again and again throughout history, in creation myths, in healing cycles, in the rhythm of transformation itself? Most people think it's arbitrary, but there's actually a profound reason rooted in how consciousness and energy work together through quantum entanglement. Since the dawn of recorded history, the number 7 has held mysterious power across every culture on Earth. 7 days to create the world. 7 notes that generate every melody. 7 colors painting the entire spectrum of light. 7 chakras mapping human energy. 7 stages of alchemical transformation through vibrational frequency. This isn't coincidence or poetry. It's archetypal. It's a vibrational code that resonates in the human soul as a signal for completion, integration, and conscious creation through the law of attraction. But here's what most people don't realize about this 7-day pattern of consciousness manifestation. 7 days carry the energetic signature of a complete cycle, not because time has magical properties, but because the human nervous system, brain, and energy field recognize this rhythm at the cellular level through quantum entanglement. It's encoded in our DNA, our circadian rhythms, our collective unconscious. Modern neuroscience confirms what ancient wisdom always knew about vibrational frequency. When a new pattern of thought or behavior is practiced with emotional intensity for 7 consecutive days, something remarkable happens in the brain. Neural pathways supporting old patterns begin to weaken. New connections form and strengthen. But the key isn't repetition. It's the emotional frequency behind each repetition through consciousness manifestation. Think of each day as a vibrational step, a note in a 7-note symphony of transformation through the law of attraction. From grounding to surrender, from safety to trust. And the deeper you live each frequency, the more you synchronize with the reality that's trying to emerge through you via quantum entanglement. But here's what you need to know about this process of consciousness manifestation. It's not about rushing through 7 days to reach some magical outcome. It's about understanding that sustainable change happens in layers, in stages, in what I call the sacred spiral of becoming through vibrational frequency. And there's a specific method for navigating this spiral, a way of living these 7 days that creates such powerful energetic momentum that your old reality simply cannot maintain itself through the law of attraction. But before I reveal this method, you need to understand the invisible error that causes most transformations to fail. Most people want external changes, more money, better relationships, vibrant health. But inside, beneath their conscious desires, they're still carrying the same emotional story, the same wounded identity, the same fears dressed in new clothes. And they wonder, why isn't this working? Why do I keep getting the same results through consciousness manifestation? Here's the truth that requires radical honesty. You cannot manifest from the new while vibrating as the old through quantum entanglement. You cannot call in abundance while feeling undeserving. You cannot attract love while believing you're fundamentally flawed. The gap between what you want and who you believe yourself to be creates energetic friction that blocks everything through vibrational frequency. This pattern is invisible because it's so familiar. It's the version of you that survived difficult times, that protected you when protection was needed, but what once served your survival may now be limiting your expansion. You can use every technique through the law of attraction, repeat every affirmation, visualize for hours, but if your emotional core is still radiating lack, your energy will quietly sabotage everything you're consciously trying to create. And here's why this happens with consciousness manifestation. Your brain's primary job is keeping you safe. When you try to become someone new without creating inner safety first, your nervous system activates its protection protocols. It defaults to the known, the familiar, the survivable, not to limit you but to protect you through quantum entanglement. That's why lasting transformation must happen in the body, not just the mind. It has to be felt, embodied, integrated into your nervous system as a new baseline of safety through vibrational frequency. And there's a specific way to do this that works with your brain's natural plasticity instead of against it. Your internal story, the narrative you tell yourself about who you are, shapes everything through the law of attraction. Your perception, your reactions, your energy, your choices. And if that core story remains unchanged, your reality will remain unchanged, no matter how many goals you set or intentions you declare through consciousness manifestation. But here's the breakthrough. You don't need years to rewrite this story through quantum entanglement. You don't need months of therapy or decades of spiritual practice. You need 7 days of living from a completely different identity. 7 days of embodying the person you're becoming with such consistency that your nervous system accepts it as the new normal through vibrational frequency. And there's a precise method for this, a way of moving through 7 distinct vibrational states that rebuilds your identity from the inside out through the law of attraction. Each state targets a different layer of consciousness, dissolving old patterns while anchoring new ones. Picture your entire being, mind, body, heart, soul, as a quantum instrument capable of incredible precision. Each cell, each breath, each heartbeat like strings that can be tuned to vibrate in perfect harmony with any reality you choose through consciousness manifestation. Now imagine there are 7 frequencies of consciousness that, when activated in sequence, create a symphony of transformation so powerful that your old life simply cannot coexist with it through quantum entanglement. This isn't fantasy. This is alignment made manifest. Vibrational practice grounded in neuroscience and quantum field theory. Each day becomes a deliberate recalibration of your entire being toward a new frequency of existence through the law of attraction. But here's what makes this method so powerful. Through consciousness manifestation, it doesn't just change how you think or feel, it changes who you are at the cellular level. It rewrites the energetic signature you broadcast to the quantum field. And when that signature changes, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new frequency through vibrational frequency. Day 1 begins with what mystics call grounding, but it's deeper than most people understand. You're not just connecting with the earth through quantum entanglement, you're establishing unshakable inner safety, the foundation upon which all transformation builds. Without this, nothing lasting can occur. Day 2 brings crystalline intention, but not as someone begging for favors through the law of attraction, as someone claiming what already belongs to them. You declare your desires with the quiet certainty of someone who knows their worth. You speak from fullness, not emptiness. From knowing, not hoping, through consciousness manifestation. Day 3 is sacred release, allowing everything that no longer serves to surface and move through you. But here's the key most people miss about vibrational frequency. You don't fight what arises. You don't judge it. You witness it with compassion and let it go with grace, making space for what wants to emerge through quantum entanglement. Day 4 is pure alignment. Your vibration settles into something clearer, lighter, more authentic through the law of attraction. You notice your choices shifting naturally. Your words carry different energy. Your presence affects others differently. Your energy speaks your truth before you open your mouth through consciousness manifestation. On day 5, you rise into elevation, active gratitude, not for what you hope to receive, but for what you already feel as real through vibrational frequency. Gratitude becomes a full-body experience that radiates from every cell. Your heart opens, your energy expands. You become magnetic through quantum entanglement. Day 6 is celebration, allowing joy to lead for no external reason. You dance to music only you can hear. You smile at beauty only you can see. You enter the frequency of delight, one of the most attracting energies in existence through the law of attraction. In this state, you become irresistible to the experiences you've been calling in through consciousness manifestation. And then comes day 7, the deepest surrender, not giving up, but giving over. You stop trying to control how your desires manifest through vibrational frequency. You stop scanning for signs and proof. You rest in complete trust because you feel the truth of what's already set in motion through quantum entanglement. But here's the secret that makes this method work when others fail. It's not a checklist to complete mechanically through the law of attraction. It's a living journey through the landscapes of your own consciousness. A transformation that happens through direct experience. Sound, movement, breath, touch, emotion, all working together through consciousness manifestation. When you live these states with complete presence, something extraordinary occurs through vibrational frequency. Your brain and energy field can no longer distinguish between your inner experience and external reality. They treat your vibrational state as fact. Your nervous system reorganizes. Your cells resonate at new frequencies. The quantum field rearranges itself to match your energetic signature through quantum entanglement. But there's one final element that determines whether this transformation becomes permanent or fades back into old patterns. And it's the most paradoxical aspect of all manifestation work through the law of attraction. The moment you try to force change, you push it away. The moment you grip tightly to how things should unfold, you block the very flow you're trying to create through consciousness manifestation. There comes a point in every transformation when you must make peace with where you are to get where you're going. This is the ultimate paradox. What you resist persists, but what you welcome transforms through vibrational frequency. The deeper you accept your current reality, the more you open the quantum field to infinite new possibilities. Acceptance isn't giving up on your dreams. It's creating space for them to manifest in ways beyond your imagination through quantum entanglement. That inner yes, quiet, powerful, unconditional, carries more manifesting power than any technique through the law of attraction, because it dissolves the inner tension that keeps you locked in resistance. Once that tension softens, something else begins to flow. Something unseen but utterly real that transforms everything it touches through consciousness manifestation. When you stop trying to control exactly how your desires unfold, when you stop labeling your circumstances as good or bad, you create an opening in reality itself through vibrational frequency. The quantum field no longer mirrors your resistance. It begins to mirror your trust, your openness, your willingness to receive in ways you haven't imagined through quantum entanglement. And here's where neuroscience reveals something incredible about how your brain creates reality through the law of attraction. Your mind is the most sophisticated reality creation device ever conceived, but it cannot tell the difference between what's actually happening and what's vividly imagined with emotion. Advanced brain imaging reveals that identical neural circuits activate whether you're performing an action or simply imagining it with emotional intensity through consciousness manifestation. Your brain records imagined experiences as memories. Memory shapes identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes destiny through vibrational frequency. This is why feeling your desires as already real isn't make-believe. It's creation at the neurological level through quantum entanglement. Not visualizing something pleasant in your head, but living it inside your body. Emotional rehearsal for a reality that's trying to emerge. Every time you rehearse with depth and authenticity, your brain adapts, your body follows. Your energetic field broadcasts a new signal through the law of attraction. You can practice this anywhere, anytime. See the version of you already living what you desire, but don't just watch through consciousness manifestation. Step into the scene. Breathe that air. Move with that rhythm. React emotionally to that beauty. Let tears come. Let joy rise. Let your body remember a future that hasn't materialized yet through vibrational frequency. When your body remembers, when your cells hold vibrational memory of your desired reality, that future stops being someday and starts being now through quantum entanglement. Your consciousness becomes a three-dimensional printer of experience through the law of attraction, printing not what you want, but what you embody. What you feel is real, what you vibrate as truth. But here's the final understanding that changes everything about how you see yourself in this process of consciousness manifestation. You're not trying to cross a bridge to your new life. You are the bridge. You are the living connection between invisible potential and visible form. You are consciousness itself, exploring what it means to create reality through embodiment and vibrational frequency. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding in manifestation is the constant question, how will it happen? But every time your attention gets trapped in the how, your power scatters through quantum entanglement. The how belongs to external circumstances. Manifestation begins in internal states through the law of attraction. The real question is, who must I become to already be living this reality? And the answer that revolutionizes everything is, I already am that person. I just need to remember through consciousness manifestation. The I am already consciousness isn't positive thinking. It's the deepest identity work possible through vibrational frequency. Stepping out of the role of seeker, desperate, incomplete, and into the truth of yourself as creator of experience. The one who already carries the frequency of what they desire before external evidence appears through quantum entanglement. Living as I already am transforms everything because the quantum field responds to embodiment, not wishes through the law of attraction. To the person you know yourself to be at the core, when you become what you seek, the universe reflects that identity back in countless forms through consciousness manifestation. Every morning becomes an opportunity. What would the version of me who already has this do today? Then you make choices, speak words, take actions from that elevated state through vibrational frequency. Not pretending, preparing. Calling your future self into present reality through quantum entanglement. This triggers creative tension between who you've been and who you're choosing to become. That tension becomes fuel for transformation through the law of attraction. Your brain, body, and energy field work together to resolve the gap by making your new identity the default through consciousness manifestation. Every time you choose as your future self would choose, the bridge between potential and reality grows stronger through vibrational frequency. Until you're no longer crossing it, you are it. The frequency made flesh. The consciousness that stopped asking for proof and started being the proof through quantum entanglement. In that state of embodied knowing, time loses its grip. Doubt dissolves like mist in sunlight. The search ends because you're no longer looking for your reality. You are your reality through the law of attraction. You carry it in your cells. You broadcast it in your energy. You vibrate it in every breath through consciousness manifestation. Now breathe. Not shallow, automatic breathing, but the kind that feels like homecoming to your own aliveness. You've walked through a complete journey of transformation. 7 frequencies, 7 doorways, 7 opportunities to remember who you really are beneath all conditioning and fear through vibrational frequency. The next 7 days aren't a suggestion. They're a portal into a version of yourself that has been waiting, not in the future, but in frequency, in vibration, in the quantum field of infinite possibility surrounding you now through quantum entanglement. If you live these days with genuine feeling, sacred devotion, complete presence, you will not be the same person at the end. Not because the world will suddenly rearrange itself, though it might, but because your inner world will become so magnetically coherent that the outer world must respond through the law of attraction. When that internal shift reaches critical mass, when your new identity becomes unshakable, everything aligns through consciousness manifestation. You already are everything you're seeking. You already exist in the frequency of your desires. You already vibrate with the energy of your dreams through vibrational frequency. The question isn't, will this work? The question is, am I willing to live as if it's already true? If your answer is yes, quiet, strong, unwavering yes from your soul, then nothing can block you. No fear, no doubt, no delay, no circumstance. Because you become the field itself through quantum entanglement. The bridge between worlds. The transformation in motion through the law of attraction. Let these next 7 days be sacred time. Let each breath, thought, moment be an offering to the highest version of yourself through consciousness manifestation. And when this week ends, don't just look for changes in your external world. See yourself in those changes. Because the transformation rises from within, where it always has been, waiting for you to remember through vibrational frequency. The universe is listening to every frequency you emit through quantum entanglement. Your presence here, feeling these words resonate in your chest, was never random. You are part of something magnificent unfolding. Everything begins now, with your next breath, your next choice, your next moment of embodying the truth of who you really are, through the law of attraction and consciousness manifestation.